Hello YouTube, and welcome to my first C++ tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can download and install the CodeBlocks IDE, as well as create your first C++ project. And as a little side note, I'm going to show you some very basic vocabulary terms that I think that are necessary for you to know throughout this course. So you go in any web browser and type in www.codeblocks.org. Sorry for my bad typing. Downloads, and then click binaries. Now, since I'm using Windows, I'm going to obviously download the Windows appropriate one. But if you're using anything else, obviously download the correct file. The important thing is that you download the second one. The first one for all of these is just the CodeBlocks IDE. I'm going to assume that you have absolutely no C++ knowledge or at all, so I want you to download the second one, because it comes with both CodeBlocks IDE and the compiler, and we'll get into that a little later. While it's downloading, I'm going to explain some of the vocabulary terms. Now, here are the words that I want you to know. You don't have to write anything down either. I just want you to know them. The first word I want you to know is what a compiler is. And a compiler is a program that takes our code, our C++ code. It takes our C++ code and then basically transcribes it or rewrites it into another code called machine code. And this machine, the reason why we do this is because the actual computer, your physical computer, cannot read our code. It's too, I guess in a word, complex. Or it just does, it's not built around that. I mean, so we have to make it into a different language, and that language is called machine code or assembly. So that's basically the whole point of the compiler, is to take our code and translate it into a simpler language, such as machine code, so that the computer itself can actually do something. The next word I want you to know is what an IDE is and stands for. An IDE stands for Integrated Development Editor. Okay? And basically, it's a fancy text editor, like Notepad. This is a text editor. Okay? IDE, it's a fancy version of that. Now, the reason why we use IDEs is because it makes it easier and faster to write. It makes it easier to write code, and therefore it makes it faster. It also makes it easier to read, which is very important in programming. That's my dog. Now, there's one thing I want you to know. I want you to know the difference between a compiler and an IDE. An IDE is one thing, one program, and the compiler is another. Okay? They're two separate things. They're not one. Now, they can come as one, but they're not always the same thing. They're not the same thing. That's important, okay? So if you have on a test or something and it says, what is the standard C++ compiler? Don't say CodeBlocks, or don't say any other IDE, okay? You're going to say whatever the standard C++ compiler is, and I'll tell you what it is later. But I want you to know for now that they're two separate entities. The next word I want you to know is what a keyword is. And basically, it's a reserved word that only can be used, that the compiler recognizes, basically, and they have special meanings behind them. Okay? and we'll get into each specific keyword later on, but for now I want you to know that they're special reserved words. Now, syntax is kind of easy. You should know what syntax is. And it varies between both spoken language and programming languages as well. And basically, the syntax is how you structure something, how you structure a specific statement. For example, in English, we put the adjectives before the noun, while in Spanish we put the adjective after the noun. Different syntax to achieve the same goal, which is basically what syntax is. And we'll get into the syntax of C++ more in depth within each tutorial. Formatting, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's how you write your code. In C++, for example, the good thing is white space does not count. I can make a line I can make a statement here, and then have a corresponding statement 50 lines down. It doesn't matter. While in another language, like Python, white space is very important. And the last word I want you to know is what an algorithm is. And it's a specific way of doing something. It's like an equation of doing certain things. If I want to achieve goal C, I have to do A and B in order to get to C. Okay, it's basically what an algorithm is. And we'll learn a few algorithms, such as like sorting algorithms, the A-star algorithm. That's fun, and stuff like that. But now it's time to finish the installation of code blocks. Click that. Yes. And next. Pretend to read all this. Sure. Don't touch anything here. And you can save it anywhere you want. I would prefer that you put it into programming files. But just put it anywhere you want. Just remember where you put it at least. Now it's extracting. Excuse me. Yes. Next. Finish. Now that you have code blocks open, to make your first project, go to File, New, Project, and then I want you to click Console Application, and then Go. Now, make sure you have C++ selected, not C, C++. They're two different languages, and while they are similar, I'm going to be teaching you C++. Name it whatever you want. Now, here's what I was talking about, the standard C++ compiler. The GNU GCC compiler is a standard compiler. And while I know you have a bunch of compilers, I want you to stick with the standard for now. And once you know enough about the basics of C++, you can go on to different implementations. But for now, just stick with standard. Finish. And I know nothing pops up. All you have to do is click the little plus button and then double click main.cpp. Haha, pp. And I'm going to go more in depth of what all this means in my next tutorial. But for now, just press F9, or you can go to build and then build and run. And there we go. Thank you for watching my tutorials. If you have any questions, please visit the programming language forums. There will be a little link in the little description, or you can make a comment that YouTube provides. Thank you for watching my tutorials, and I hope to see you again.